Good morning, everybody. It is day 2 of the bank holiday weekend, so it's a Sunday, and the day starts with some really excellent news. Thanks to the power of the internet and a man named Paul, I have a solution for this here problem. He's got a rear skin panel which had the arch lip chopped out of it, and I think the bottom there can't quite see on the photo, but he's given me that for free. All I need to do is go and collect it. But that's fantastic because I won't need to fabricate any of that complicated shape or that bit. I can just take it from his skin section, so that is going to save me so much time. That changes what I'm going to be doing today, because my plan was weld the rear panel in and then once that was all welded, I was going to do this bit so all the crap could drop down through here, and then I was going to do that bit. So today instead what I'm going to do is do the lamp panel, and then once I'm happy where that is, I'll probably take the tailgate off and start repairing this drip tray at the back and the underside of the roof. I don't know quite how bad it is yet. I don't think it's going to be a complicated repair, but as with all of these things, you don't know until you actually get in there. But yeah, so day starts with really positive news, and I'm very happy. So thank you, Paul, and I'll go and collect that next week because I've got to go out and about with work anyway. So without further ado, I'm going to go put my overalls on, have a really good clean up in here because it's a mess again, and then set to welding this in, and then I'll remake all the little drain channel-y bits as well and repair that bit. Yeah, should be a good day. Right, tidied up that area. That void was where the fuel tank was. The fuel tank I'd drained, but I hadn't really closely inspected. I was sort of half anticipating needing to replace it, but having drained the fuel out of it properly this time, and if I can show you with a torch, looking inside, there's no rust, which is good. What there is like residue and debris, which is like sludgy, slurry shit. So before I relegate that to the bin, and this, even if I didn't put it in Dotty, I'd definitely keep it, because actually you can see somebody's looked after it. They've repainted it. On SD1 tanks, these seams usually blow apart, look really crap because they're just welded along there. This one's really good. The other thing that can happen is they can rot out where these fittings are welded into the sides of the tank, or that one is completely gone. So this is actually a really solid tank. So I'm going to shoot inside with a power washer to try and get as much of this crap out, and then I'll make another assessment as to whether it will live or not. Let's just have a very quick look now. I'm half concerned that this is just going to emulsify, convert it into something truly disgusting. Let's have a look. Yeah, no, it seems to be coming off actually. I will persevere, and as per usual, report back. I'm not going to say it's perfect, but hopefully you can see there's some like paint residue which is slowly coming off. The rest of the tank's looking really nice. There's certainly no rust build up, which is what clogs tanks and stuff. These tanks have, oh Jesus, really out of breath. These tanks have a elevated pickup sock, and slowly killing Mr. Worm. Come here. Where's he gone? Yeah, the pickup sock is out of the way of any shit and dirt, so it shouldn't get clogged. I'll show you. As I was saying, this is the assembly that sits in the tank. You've got a coarse pickup strainer there, then the pump, and it's just a low pressure one obviously because it's a carburetted car, and then that exits out the top of the tank through that pipe and then runs along the whole of the underside of the car to the engine bay, obviously. And in here I have, that's the sort of filter that goes at the carburettor end. There's two new ones there. That's a brand new pump, or should be, with brand new pickup strainer, so that's going in Dotty. That was quite expensive, annoyingly, but it needs to go in that car. I'm going to persevere a little bit longer with the high pressure hose, and I wouldn't ordinarily wash a fuel tank out with plain water, but it's such a hot day that that will dry off in an instant, and then I can put it somewhere safe and it won't develop any rust inside. Just as a brief follow-up, what I thought was paint in the bottom isn't. The paint is actually the tank's paint, and what was on top was shitty old residue, so you can see where I've kind of blasted through it. Basically, I could be doing this all day and get no more out of it. That residue is really hardly caked on, so what I'm going to do now is just fill it with normal hosepipe water and swill it around a bit, and then drain it off and let it dry. But yeah, I'm very happy with that, because I'd kind of assumed I'd be having to source a new tank or send this one away, get it repaired. I don't know why I'm out of breath, maybe it is coronavirus, but yeah, with a lick of paint that should be good to go. One final tour before I go and get on with some welding. Can you see that? I don't know. Basically, there's absolutely zero rust in the tank, and that's what concerned me more than anything else. I've got off as much of the old sort of evaporated fuel residue as I can. That's all the white stuff, and I'm calling that done. All I need to do is paint it, which I'll do when I'm doing the undersealing. It'll be done in epoxy mastic. Right, so that can dry in the sun, he says, as the sun goes in, but you get the idea. Wow, what happy. Right, that's the outer surface done. These tops are solid. Turns out you can MIG weld through braze if you're persistent enough. That can all be ground dead smooth, so it won't even need any filler. That I'll clean out with the Dremel and then fill that bit. Obviously I need to put the return in there for the lip seal. Same on this end, a bit more work to do because I've got to fill that lovely hole. All along the bottom, the plug welds are done. I had one here burn through and drop right out, and I think that's because I'd sanded the flange too smooth and it just burnt a hole. This end, I'd forgotten the flange was a bit rotten, so I chopped it off, so I need to tidy that up. That probably could be stitch welded, but I'll wait until the car's moved away and I'm doing that bit down there to do that area. This side, I need to rebuild that corner, but possible that the panel that I'm getting off Paul has that bit on, so I won't bother doing that because I could be fabricating something that I end up getting on Tuesday night anyway with this new repair panel that's been donated very kindly. The other welding operation to do for this rear panel is from the back side, but quite frankly it won't take long, it'll be easy, and I'm really hot and bothered and tired. It's a stinking hot day, which is absolutely brilliant, apart from the fact I'm in the back of a garage where lighting is not good. I've got my LED work lights, which are great if you're trying to cast light over a big area, but if you're working right close to them, they just get on your tits massively. And the other thing is, with my rather second-hand looking welding helmet, the LED is so bright it activates the screen, so it auto darkens, which means you can't see what you're doing even before you've struck up the weld. So all in all, I'm getting rather hot and bothered, and I'm going to stop now for lunch and then hopefully come out and do a little bit more later on. I'm now fueled with bacon, so I'm going to weld up the bits that I need to from the inside. I've also got those holes where the tow bar electrics used to go through, and I'd kind of forgotten they were there, if I'm honest. So they need sorting. There's a drain hole down there and there's a drain hole over there. I think they're original, so they're going to stay. So what I need to do is plug weld through those holes, stitch weld that bit down there, and then same that end, and then I think I'm gonna, oh yeah, got to rebuild those bits, haven't I? Right, okay, anyway, cracking on time. Right, some of these aren't the cleanest, but it's purely because access is a complete pain in the something or others. That I'm trying to cut down on my swearing. I think I swear too much in these videos and in life generally. Anyway, there's a big gap between the bumper reinforcer and the lamp panel. You can see that I can see. See that tab in there? That's preventing it all from moving forward. What I could do is take a saw from the outside, just run down and then push it all forward. But actually, why don't I just do that? God, I'm clever. Yeah, so I'm going to do that. Put a big saw through it. Hopefully that'll move forward, and then I can weld it nicely from the inside and the outside, and we should end up with a decent finished article. That's all cleaned up. Okay, so that's done. It's probably overkill. I don't think they did that in factory. I'm just doing it because I can, and it just strengthens the whole area. The rear lamp panel is now directly tied into that chassis rail thingy, and not just with a few plug welds on the outside, and it won't affect the way in which the car will crush in an accident or anything like that. So it'll just mean that if anyone ever wants to change the rear lamp panel on this, they've got a tiny bit more work to do. If this was anywhere else in the car, I'd get in there with a grinder and clean these up and make them all look really pretty. But all of this just gets slapped full of seam sealer afterwards. Big, fat, healthy, sloppy stripe all the way down through here. So I'm not going to bother. I'm just wasting my time and my grinding discs. What I will do is clean off the spot welds along the top, clean off in here and here, and then I can start remaking the other little bits that I'm missing. I'm not going to bother recording that because it's boring. Just did a little video, and then I don't think the camera recorded it, so I'm going to record it all again. It wasn't particularly interesting. It was just me saying that I've ground down all the welds along the back and tossed a load of zinc on the top. I haven't gone crazy grinding them down. I could make them invisible repairs, but there's really no point because it's all going to be covered in red oxide and then other paints, so you will never see it once the bumper's fitted. Those bits are all ground down. I've done it in weld through primer, just a bit on the top because I need to make localized repairs and weld a little upstand on for the boot tailgate seal thing, and then yeah, that's about all I've done really. I might take the tailgate off now because I'm happy that's all in the right place. I'm kind of bored of welding today, if I'm honest. I might take the tailgate off now, get that out of the way, investigate that bit up there, and then once I've cooled off a little bit, then I can either come back and do more welding, or I can go drink cider and eat pork scratchings. Oh, lordy! Hurt, hurt, hurt. I need to disconnect the wiring for the tailgate, which runs up through the tops of these pillars. It's actually quite helpful having this cut away because I can get my hand in and start feeding it through. But before I do the last bit, pulling up there, I'm going to thread a line through, like a mousing line, so hopefully I can do it by welding and then pull the wiring through once I've got a new tailgate. I might go find some wire, actually, something that won't melt when I do weld. I found a roll of old metal wire, so I'm going to use that just to run some mousing lines. Well, you can kind of see what we're left with. The roof skin on these, the ends about there. So this top surface you're seeing all the way along is actually the roof skin. The main structure of the roof is underneath. Like so. So this bit here goes in, goes out, all the way along, as you can see. What I need to do is find out where the bad metal ends and the good metal starts, then chop it out, probably all the way along there, all the way around, drill out all the spot welds between the skin and the, I don't know what it's called, tail rail, I'm going to call it. The cant rail is the bit that goes across the front. No, header rail is the bit that goes front. Cant rails are the side structure. Don't know what that bit's called, but anyway, that's the bit we're working on. It's really dusty in here, and I'm going to sweep all of that out, put a breathing mask on, then attack it with the wire wheel on the drill. A few minutes later, I could be wrong, but that's probably why water's getting in the boot, because there's literally nothing stopping it. That would be why the rear seat pans disintegrated, and probably why the cabin floor disintegrated. And strangely, all of that was forward of where the boot rotted out. So, well, it didn't rot out, that's what I mean. So that's what I've got to chop out. It's not going to be hard to make, because it's one sheet of steel with a return on it. I'm not going to disturb these areas unless I have to. There's pitting corrosion, but there's no holes. If I have to involve that, it's going to get a lot more complicated a lot faster. So I'm going to try and avoid that. I need to take reference measurements from the tail there to this lip. And I also want to work out, in fact maybe I can eyeball it. We've got a slight curve that way, so this isn't going to be as easy as I had hoped. What I might do is weld. Yeah, what I'll probably do, I'm just chatting out loud and frequently my plans change. But what I might do is, not sure what happened there, I think the video cut off. As I was saying, what I'll probably do is weld a flat sheet in, and then once I'm happy I've got the curved profile, I'll fold the lip up on the end. Again, talking out loud, don't really know. That's my plan. I'm wondering if I shouldn't hold off until I actually get a tailgate, because that will help me set the level of this. So yeah, decisions. I suppose I can take spot heights off the cabin floor to here, which will help me with the curvature. I like getting stuck into things, but sometimes you have to think it through before you get busy with Mr. Choppy Angry Grinder. Damn it! I think perhaps I'm overthinking this. I've just been out opening and closing the tailgate on the twin plenum. It seals a lot further up than I thought. So the seal is actually well inside that bit of the tailgate and almost on the rubber buffer for the actual tailgate glass. Consequently, there's a lot of up and down play. So long as the water can't get into the cabin and won't pool, so there's a crest in the middle and it'll run off left and right, I'm pretty sure I can't really screw this up. So with that in mind, I'm going to go with the cutting disc. After I've drawn my measurements on, I'm going to go with the cutting disc and make some initial choppage. That bit is just single skin. There's nothing there. That can all come out. This bit is where I've got the roof skin plug welded or spot welded onto the tail rail. So that bit can just be lopped off. This bit I'm going to have to do a little bit more careful surgery. Same on the other side. Let the fun begin. Right, you can start to see what needs to be done. Still need to pick out a bit more of here. I need to chop a bit more of that out. And this panel underneath is pretty good. Surface corrosion, but once it's hammered, oh my god, it's look how sweaty that is. It is horrible in here. yeah, blah 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 blah. Weldy weldy, choppy grindy grindy, all needs to be done. This side's actually quite good. I had to chop a bit more out of there, and you can start to see the reinforcing bits underneath. I think I need to take even more off. You can see the frilliness here. So I need to slice through there. What I'll probably do is do that as one section, grind it all nice, and then put that whole piece in as one, leave it long, mark off to where I've got these numbers, measure the boot floor aperture height from the silver car out there or the drift car, whichever, and put it back together. I won't be doing that today because it is so hot and just sticky and horrible that I'm going to give up for the day. That's the bit that came out. It really was horrible. And the underside all looks good. It's just surface. So yeah, lots of fun to look forward to. You can see what an unpleasant working environment that is. Why, even though it's, I don't know, probably only 4 o'clock. 20 past 3 in fact, but yeah, I really can't be bothered to do any more today. I'm probably gonna have a nice big bonfire. Kind of a miniature follow-up. This car, in hindsight, would have been an absolutely brilliant candidate for making a pickup truck. So it's kind of a shame that I bothered doing all of this, because I could have just left that door on, fixed that bit. That could have been, you know, done a different way. The rear lamp panel, all of this could have been chopped off and made differently. So a bit of a shame really. Anyway, the benefits of hindsight. See, Barry Bunny's got the right idea. He knows how to enjoy his bank holiday weekend. No messing about in the garage for him. He's just sitting there, chilling. Goddamn bunnies. Enough of bunny bothering. Just a follow up to fuel tanks. That obviously is the one that's going back into Dotty. That is the original one. This one here is the one I bought for 75 quid for Dotty, thinking it was a really good tank, having been told it was a really good tank, and just removed out of a car and all the rest of it. Normal kind of chatter. Pulled it out. That didn't look so hot. That's the level sender. It doesn't even have a pump on it. So whether this was an EFI one, it can't be an EFI tank because it doesn't have the feeds on the underside. But anyway, oops, shouldn't really drop my phone on the floor. I just took that out and had a look inside. Basically, you can see how rusty it is. That's a real shame, because it's not complete junk, but you know, when you pay good money for something, a bit disappointing when it's like that inside. I am gonna, while I've still got the high pressure hose, everything set up, I will blast it and see what it does, but bummer. Nothing major to report. It's later on in the day. I can't be bothered to do any proper work, so I thought I would come and sort this windscreen. It's a shame because the glass is actually quite good. It's delaminated here. The polyurethane interlayer between probably the top 2 layers has started to white up. The other reason it needs to come out is you can see people have tried to reseal it, which was never going to work because these screens aren't sealed between the glass, the chrome and the metal. The glass is bonded to the car back in there, and then this is kind of jabbed in while the glue is going off. So you're never going to be able to repair a leak by sealing between these bits. It just doesn't work. So the windscreen is going to have to come out. It's just a case of in how many pieces. It would be nice to keep this glass in one chunk, because although I will never put it in a nice car, the drift car, I seem to remember it had a big chip in it or something over there. And although it goes through MOTs, this screen has to come out anyway, because I've got to repair the scuttle at some point. So I could, if I wanted, shove this screen in that car and then, you know, just put black tape over that bit or something. I don't know. Anyway, it's also quite good fun trying to get stuff out without breaking it, just in case in the future you do need to get it out. Again, I'm just chuntering away for absolutely no reason whatsoever. So I'm going to put the camera down and start poking. This might be easier than I thought. That should not be doing that. I wouldn't mind betting this screen, I presume, has debonded all the way around. It's a really clever design. Rover in the early 70s, when they were designing this car, went for the triplex screens. They were bonded into the frame, which at the time was like mid 70s, early 70s, was quite a novel thing to do. The benefit is that it massively increases the safety of the car. This becomes effectively a bonded stressed member. So if you crashed your Cortina or shitty old Escort or something, none of all forces go through the A-pillars and the sills and buckle and stuff like that. This actually helps to shift the impact over the roof and into the rear. So it was a real development, and of course it set a precedent and everyone else copied it. Obviously I've fucked the screen already, but I think this thing has definitely had it. And I don't know how the bonding evolved over sort of the production run of the SD1s, but the very early cars had a special kind of adhesive where there was like a heating element in around the edge of the screen, and you connected the two wires to a battery. The element would warm up and actually soften the glue, and you could just lift the screens out. But of course the glue, being a polymer or whatever it is, goes off over time, and the water gets in and rusts out the conductive loop, so that doesn't work anyway. But what I think has probably happened is that bonding, it probably is an early screen, the bonding is gone and the whole screen can move relative to the car. So this is a real benefit for me, because it means it's going to be a hell of a lot easier to get out than a later one, which I really bonded in like a complete bitch. And because it's going to be easier to get out, I say all of this, touch wood, fingers crossed, all the rest of it, it should mean that I get to save all of these chrome trims without sort of trying to leave them off and distorting them. So with that in mind, what I might actually do is climb in the driver's seat and just try and kick it out. I've broken it already, so that doesn't really matter. Or can I put my shoulder through it? Let's have a go. This is where I get showered in glass. I can hear it going. Oh. It's definitely going. These, not a lot of people know they exist. I don't think the later cars always have them. It's like a protective band that goes on the leading edge of the roof and stops the glass chattering and shattering. So it's going to be good to try and save that if we can. Yeah, cool, right. That's nice to have. That could go back in. Let's see what the windscreen does this side. Can I sit on that seat? I haven't actually done anything constructive with the right side. Oh, happy fucking days. I would do a ta-da, but I broke the screen, so that's brilliant. Ah, look at that. So all of this will clean off. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a massive result. I'm feeling smug. Woo. Let's see what we've got in here. Oh, look at that. Absolutely zero rust. All the way around. Perfect. A little bit there. Look at that. You do not get that. This car is unbelievable. You can see how the bonding agent has literally debonded itself from the car, but it never rusted. Quite fantastic. I am made up with that. I was almost certain I was going to find a horror show and that would take me weeks more welding. I am chuffed. You chuffed to nuts with that. God, I love this car. Is that a bit of rust? Possibly so. But nothing major. Ah, I forgot I had them. That is the missing part of the ID badge, which should be down there. These are bonnet insulation pad brackets. You might think they are crap, and they are, but they are completely unrusted and not hen's teeth, but you know, they're not exactly common. Is that a good wiper? Cool, that might end up on the 420. Box spanner, forgot I had that. This rubbery sealy thing, they go brittle and rock hard and snap. That one's just about okay, it hasn't fractured yet. Let's go and have a look at the screen. La la la. So that's the top chrome, these just pop off. Cool. That's excellent. So this is the old windscreen adhesive stuff. I think what it's actually done is taken the paint off the car. So they'd squidged it on, it had set, and then delaminated. Whoopee for me. That's really cool. You can buy the chromes, but it's nice not to have to spend money. I am part Scottish, honestly. I don't think I'll be able to save my SD1 Club sticker, can I? I can, look at that. It's a bit fucked. Shame. Yeah, more chuntering. I'm going to stop videoing now because I have run out of constructive things to say. I'll say that, but... Yippee! I'll probably end the video there.